things thoroughly throughout this week of lectures. So this is a core text. This is one of the main books on your reading list by Chappie and Smith, and hopefully you can access this on the reading list. But they say that digital marketing is achieving marketing objectives through applying digital technologies and media. So we're going to be thinking about some of these. So when it comes to marketing objectives, it's about strategy and organisational functions of digital marketing. So we're going to be covering that. What's really important here is being able to prove to your stakeholder, that's your client or your employer, that you're able to convey the messages that they want to get across to their customer. So having those objectives and achieving those marketing objectives is really important in digital marketing. It's not just creating the content and putting the messages out there, it's also making sure you're achieving your objectives. And this is from the Digital Marketing Institute, the DMI, who is it's a very important industry-specific institute for digital marketing. So they have got lots of material on their website that's very useful. Here they talk very clearly about digital marketing being measured and memorable, which we're going to discuss fully through the module. So they say that digital marketing is the use of digital technologies to create an integrated, targeted, and measurable communications which help to acquire and retain customers while building deeper relationships with them. So that really sums up the whole process of the whole point of digital marketing. You need to get your customers, you also need to retain them, but it's also about talking to them and having an ongoing relationship with them. So with digital marketing, it's not just about understanding what the tools are and about the content that you put on those tools. It's really about understanding what success looks like as well. So those things of getting those customers, retaining them, and building those relationships, you need to be able to measure how successful your digital marketing techniques are, activities are. So one of those learning objectives is to understand how digital has really transformed the world of marketing. So with that, it's about understanding the difference between what traditional and digital advertising are, the context of these. So with digital, we've got online video, display ads, which are the sorts of the ads that you see on websites, search engine marketing. Obviously, we'll go into much more detail about all of this in the specific lectures. Paid social ads, so ads that appear on social media, and social media posts, which are different to advertising. Whereas traditional will be things like magazine ads, there'll be billboards, direct mail, and television ads as well. And we will be focusing in this module entirely on digital tools. But in general, when you're working in marketing in an organisation, you won't just be working exclusively. A digital marketing tool is not done on its own completely. Generally, it's in conjunction with traditional marketing tools as well. So, for example, you might have a billboard that's advertising your product, and you'll have digital marketing that supports that, that's part of the same campaign. So when in an organisation, you don't have the digital team and the traditional team completely separate from each other, they'll be working together to use these different methods. You'll have specialists who really know what they're talking about within these different realms, but they'll be working as one team. It's not enough to just have digital or just have traditional. They'll also be, as well as working with traditional marketers, they'll also be working with other parts of the business as well. So it's about making sure that the whole business works together to achieve their aims. Because, for example, if you've created a fantastic digital marketing campaign that relies on people, that gets lots of customers to your business's website to make purchases, but the team that actually produces the materials, the things that the products, haven't made enough, or they're not ready to ship out that many products, then it's all going to fall apart and you're not going to retain those customers. So it's really important that all the teams work together within the business. So these are just examples. There are more methods that we'll explore. In practice, digital marketing is basically referring to marketing campaigns that you'll see on your computer, your phone, a tablet, or another device, sometimes on watches as well, smart watches as well now. And one of the things that's interesting is television ads would once have been seen as sort of a non-traditional, like new marketing technique, but obviously it's very much a traditional ad now rather than digital. So the key differences between digital and traditional media. With traditional, so with billboards and with television, magazines, it's an emphasis on pushing. You're pushing a message out towards the customer. They haven't asked to see these adverts. They're pushed in front of them whether you want it or not. Whereas digital, you're pulling that information towards you. So for example, if you search for something and then you get ads related to that search, you're effectively pulling those adverts towards you. They're not being pushed at you, you're pulling them towards you. You can also directly communicate with brands, ask them questions, and they will tell you the answer. You're pulling the brand towards you rather than them pushing themselves on you. So that's a really key difference between traditional and digital marketing. Chatbots as well. So traditional, we've got one-way communication. It's from them, the brand, to you, the customer. With digital, it's much more about having a dialogue and interacting with your customers. Digital marketing digital platforms have allowed brands to really be able to communicate in a two-way method with their customers. And that's only expanding now with things like chatbots. So even if they don't have the staff available to be able to communicate one-to-one with their customers all the time, now with chatbots, they can have 24-hour dialogue with their customers through the use of specially trained chatbots. So there's no limit really to the amount of interaction that customers have with the brands. And that's probably the main revolutionary change in marketing industry. And it would previously, maybe even 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, if you wanted to contact a brand that for some reason, you might be calling their call centre, and you wouldn't be speaking to their marketing professionals, you wouldn't be speaking to, you'd just be speaking to their general customer service team. So now it's completely different. Marketers, their job is to communicate with the customers in a way that it wasn't sort of 10 or so years ago. It obviously brings a lot of challenges though, because you need to manage that communication. You need to think very carefully about that dialogue that you're having with your customers. So traditional marketing, the cost of targeting your adverts, your marketing towards your customers is constrained by where it goes. So for example, the cost of putting an advert on a billboard that's in a very public location with lots and lots of passing traffic, with a billboard that's down a side street with not very much, or having your advert in Vogue rather than having your advert in a local newspaper, something like that. So the amount that it costs to target your customers is basically the amount that there is a very clear cost of how much that marketing is going to cost you. It is purely focused on location, really. But with digital, if you know that your target customer is, well, for example, if we go to Bentley or Porsche, you know that your customer is very well off, likes other certain, that you might think, I only want to target people who also like Rolex watches, as well as having a certain income and who search for a certain thing. You can really focus your marketing at that one person. There's no point in someone like me who likes to ride a bike to get around. There's no point in aiming your Bentley advert at me. So you can really focus in on who you're targeting rather than just putting a billboard somewhere and hoping that the right people see it. But that works two ways as well, because we can also do a lot of research into what that specific person wants. They might talk directly to us as well, and then we can actually tailor our products towards them. So it's very much, again, that targeting is a two-way thing. It's not just producing something and then going, right, I want this specific type of person to see it. It's also going, what does that specific person want? And then producing a product that's going to work for them as well. So a decision that a business will make is whether they're going to really tailor their products towards a niche group of people, or they want to get to as many people as possible and have something that's probably a low-cost thing that's going to be of interest to everyone. So those are the sorts of decisions that you can make in marketing. And digital marketing really helps you decide how you're going to focus your efforts. So in limited customer-to-customer interaction as well, traditional. With traditional marketing, traditional services and products, the only way a customer is really going to speak to another customer is if they're in a physical shop next to the person who's also buying that product. Or if it's a service, if they happen to be using the same service at the same time. But with digital marketing, that includes your online communities. So it includes Facebook groups, for example, where all the customers of a particular brand, or even one particular product that brand sells, those customers can join together and talk to each other. So there's a lot more interaction between customers, which again has its challenges, because it also means customers are sharing negative information as well as positive. So one of the Facebook groups that I'm in millions of Facebook groups, but one of the groups I'm in is for a particular brand of outdoor trousers for hiking, and it's very bizarre to be in a Facebook group that's for people who have the same brand of trousers, but they will share second-hand versions of the same trousers, ask questions about sizing, and things like that. And it's only of benefit to the company to have customers interacting like that, because the more people are talking about how much they like their trousers, the more people are going to buy, and they're sort of sharing different colours and going, right, okay, actually I want that colour as well. So participating in an online community for a brand can really help with that customer retention if it's done properly. But it is also the sort of place where, yes, if one person says, actually the quality of these products is getting worse and worse, I've noticed over the years, and other customers join in and there's no response from the brands that they're talking about, then that can really negatively impact their customers. So the other thing about having all that information, those with the dialogue, the interactivity, and with those online communities around your brand, you have got so much information that you're getting from your customers, and you and the rest of the business that you're working for need to use that information properly. And it can get very overwhelming, the amount of information that you've got. So it's very important to try and understand which information is critical, and then getting that information back to your clients, your employers. So for example, if people are saying actually the quality of this product has got worse, and you as the digital marketer is seeing that in the online community, then you need to go and tell your employers, we're getting a lot of people saying that the quality's got worse. What's happened? What are you doing to rectify this? What can I tell the customers? So those sorts of things are really, really important. It's really working out which information is possible. If one person says the quality of these trousers are rubbish, do you take that to your employer? Probably not. But if you have dozens who are saying the same thing, that's when you need to decide, right, this information is now critical. Another thing when it comes to traditional advertising, traditional marketing, is that if you have created a campaign and you've got an advert in Vogue, which might be 2 months, two editions away that you've created this campaign for, because it takes that long to sort of create the campaign, to get the photography done, to get the message across, and you've got a billboard that's going to go up at a certain time, and you've got a certain slot that billboard is booked for, then it's very difficult to then change your plans if something changes. Whereas obviously with digital, with dynamic campaigns, you can edit and revise them constantly. So when I was working in a marketing department at a university, we would put some adverts live, some Google search adverts live for a course. We would see within an hour of it going live, like how well it was doing, and then change it if it wasn't doing well. So for example, there was one campaign where it was being directed at anyone searching for photography, because it was a photography course, but of course, most people searching for photography aren't looking to do a university degree in photography. So we were getting thousands of people visiting the website, but they weren't the right people, so it was, right, we need to quickly edit this and make it more focused on the people that we need. So yes, digital means that you can keep changing your campaign according to how it's working. You can see exactly how it's working and change it, and you don't have those same limitations. Continuous as well is a real benefit of digital. So with traditional marketing, you'll have a budget, and excuse me, Dan, do you have to stop? Yes, break until we have a break. So you'll have a certain budget that you'll spend in a certain period of time, and then that's over, that's done with, and then you might have another campaign 3 months later, and you'll do that burst of activity. But with digital marketing, you can have continuous campaigns where you're going to be permanently available to your customers. So you're going to have campaigns that will continue from the moment they might start when one person becomes aware of your brand, and that campaign will follow that person through their journey, and then 6 months later it will start again for someone else, but obviously much more frequent than that, hopefully. So yes, we can build peaks and troughs in our marketing activities. We might have a campaign that we really want to focus on, but generally we can just keep our marketing activity, what we call bobbing along, like nicely all over time. And then finally on this slide, with traditional media, you might have there are limited opportunities for buying media. So going back to a billboard or a magazine, there are a certain number of advertising spaces in that magazine. There are certain weeks that billboard is available, so you have a very limited window to buy that space to put your marketing campaign. But with digital tools, you have limitless media buying. there is absolutely no limit to the number of brands that could be putting their, creating search ads or posting on social media at any one time. So in terms of measuring with traditional marketing activity, it is quite difficult to judge how well a billboard or a magazine or a television ad is doing. The only way that you can really measure that is by speaking to people and asking them things like, where did you find out about us? But someone might not remember that. If you've become aware of a brand or a campaign because you drove past the billboard, you might not even remember that you drove past that billboard and you saw it. So it's very, very difficult to quantify how well that's doing, to see what the return on investment is. But with digital, you can see exactly where someone saw your search ad for the first time. You can see whether they clicked through to your website after that. You can then see what that specific person did on the website while they were there. Then you might see if they signed up to your email marketing campaign, and if they clicked on anything within that campaign. See how much they spent at the company. So basically, with digital, it's the complete opposite. You can, if you wanted to, you can measure someone at a micro level. In practice, most companies won't have the resources to do that at such a level, generally. Certainly I just used to do it occasionally when I wanted to really follow those customers. I would pick out a few customer journeys and follow them using analytics, but it wouldn't be sort of a standard thing you do for everyone. So that's when we cover analysis tools, we'll see how we can look at top line results and apply them across the campaign. You can also do A/B testing in digital, which you can't do in traditional marketing. So some people will see a search ad with a specific headline, and other people will see a different headline, and then we can test which one's doing better than the other. And tools will actually do that analysis for you. And some tools will automatically start showing everyone the one that's being more successful. So A/B testing is a really, really good part of digital marketing that you can do throughout a campaign or just at the start of the campaign. With traditional, the way that you would do that is probably with focus groups. So you might show or a survey beforehand. So sometimes you might, if someone is doing a television advert, it's a big investment, it costs a lot of money to do a television ad. They want to make sure that they get it right. So they will do market research to see how different customers respond to that advert. But it's very theoretical. It's things like, which one of these adverts do you prefer? And you might do a rating to say how you feel throughout the advert. But that isn't a real customer. It's someone taking part in research. So you can't see if it actually, you can't really see if that testing actually does result in people buying your products. Whereas with digital, you're literally looking at how they're responding to your marketing as it's happening. With traditional, what have we got here? Most communications to reach our audience via media owners. Oh yeah, okay. So this is where you, the brand, control all the communications in traditional media. So all the communications about your brand